Now at 6 on Time Warner Cable News on ABC 45, two triad shelters under fire after complaints of animal abuse, what investigators uncovered, and what's being done to help the surviving animals. Plus, the defense presents the last of their evidence defending the actions of a North Carolina police officer who killed an unarmed man, when closing arguments are set to begin. And a car crash leads to a shootout on a major interstate.
You're watching Time Warner Cable News on ABC 45.
The state is revoking the licenses of the United Animal Coalition to run the Davidson and Guilford County animal shelters. An investigation found more than 100 documented cases of inadequate vet care. We have team coverage for you tonight in Guilford and in Davidson County. Let's start in Guilford County. This morning, county commissioners held an emergency meeting where they voted unanimously to terminate the contract they have with the UAC. Our Elaina O'Connell joins us live from outside the animal shelter with the details. Elaina.
That's right, Cheryn. Now, earlier this morning, after the meeting, I was handed this 11-page document that outlines some of the most horrible violations that they found. These are findings that the commissioners say are disgusting and things they are not going to tolerate.
There's a motion to discuss. A second. Any discussion? If none, let's proceed to vote. And that passes unanimously with 2 absent.
Within seconds, the 7 Guilford County commissioners present at Monday's meeting voted in favor of terminating the county's contract with the United Animal Coalition. The county does need to obtain a license to run the shelter. Commissioners say the process will be expedited so it can reopen as soon as possible. Now, Cheryn, the shelter is going to remain closed throughout the week. County officials do anticipate it will reopen on Saturday under their condition control. Now, also, we do want to remind you that if you do need to surrender an animal, you can still do so by calling animal control. Now, we have put this entire document up on our website for you if you would like to go through and look yourself at those violations that they did find. And we do want to warn you that the material is graphic. Reporting live in Greensboro, Elaina O'Connell, Time Warner Cable News on ABC 45.
Within hours, Davidson County commissioners also called an emergency meeting to talk about its shelter. It's also run by the United Animal Coalition. We go now to our Cristen Drummond, who's outside the government building in Lexington, with more on what the county plans to do next. Cristen.
Well, Cheryn, the meeting wrapped up around 4:30. The Davidson County commissioners unanimously agreed to rescind the service contract and lease agreement with United Animal Coalition. So that means the county will now take over shelter operations and it will remain open. Now, the county owns the building and leased it to the UAC in December last year. The county manager says commissioners were made aware of the abuse and investigation just fairly recently, but was told by law enforcement to stay out of it. The shelter's interim director, Donna Grooms, was also at the meeting today. She took over 9 days ago after calling commissioners and offering to run it after hearing about a dog intake that possibly had a broken back and suffered in the shelter before being euthanized. Grooms was approved by the UAC's current president, Kerrick, to come in. Now, Groom says there are roughly 200 animals at the facility, and she, along with 3 full-time staffers and roughly 20 volunteers, are working to aid cats and dogs back to health and cleaning up the shelter. An investigation revealed more than 400 animals were found dead in their kennels this year at the shelter, and those animals were mostly cats. And by rescinding the license, commissioners now want to find the best care for the cats and dogs there.
A lot of issues going on with the UAC right now, and certainly the revocation of their license by the Department of Agriculture didn't give the county a whole lot of choice. Somebody has to kind of step in and take responsibility and move forward. There's a lot of animals down there that need our care and our attention.
Now, the county says they will keep Grooms as the interim director for now. They are also going to be working with a staffing agency immediately, and also will be submitting a request for a license in the next 10 days. I would just want to remind you, Cheryn, also that the shelter will remain open, so adoptions are still available. Also, if you need to surrender your animal, you can do that too. Reporting in Lexington, Cristen Drummond, Time Warner Cable News on ABC 45.
Jurors will start deliberating soon in the trial for Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officer Randall Kerrick. Kerrick is charged with voluntary manslaughter for shooting and killing Jonathan Farrell in September of 2013. The defense rested their case today after calling use of force and DNA experts. Kate Gaier has the latest.
Well, after nearly 30 witnesses, the defense says it is done with its evidence and rested this afternoon. They ended with that DNA expert who says Jonathan Farrell's DNA was found on Kerrick's gun and his uniform.
There was 3 areas that tested positive for the presence of blood.
DNA expert Eve Rossi says she tested the grip, the trigger, and the muzzle of Officer Kerrick's gun for DNA, all of which included blood from Jonathan Farrell. Kerrick says Farrell grabbed his gun during their deadly encounter in September of 2013. Closing arguments are scheduled for tomorrow morning. Prosecutors get to go first and last because the defense put on evidence. The state said it will take about an hour. The defense said they'll take about an hour and a half. Reporting from the courthouse in Uptown Charlotte, Kate Gaier, Time Warner Cable News.
Charlotte-Mecklenburg police are still looking for a shooting suspect in North Charlotte. Officers say the suspect fired several shots at the victim after the two got into a car accident this morning near Statesville Avenue. Police say the suspect then ran behind a Citgo gas station. The victim was not injured.
He left his vehicle in drive when he got out of his vehicle and fired the weapon again. His vehicle then rolled into the ditch. Slight damage to that vehicle. He then ran towards Boxmeer, right behind the Citgo at 85 and Statesville.
The ramp to 85 south to Statesville was closed briefly while police conducted their investigation. It is back open at this hour. A South Carolina state senator wants tougher gun laws after the Charleston church shooting that killed 9 people. Senator Marlon Kimpson represents the district that includes Emmanuel AME Church. Today he announced he plans to pre-file bills in the General Assembly banning assault weapons, strengthening background checks, and creating a gun registration system to make it easier to track guns. Kimpson said the state has to take action before there's another tragedy. One of his proposals is a state background check that would make sure state information not available on federal background checks is not overlooked or missed.